Probably 98% of you understand what I'm doing in my uniform. I just had 2 people ask me this morning, what are you doing in the uniform? So if you're visiting today, you're probably one of those 2 people. I'm in the Air Guard, and I'm with the 110th Airlift Wing in Battle Creek. So once a month, I tend to show up anymore. For a lot of years, I always changed clothes before I would get back, but I've decided I'm not going to change clothes in the car anymore on the way back from Battle Creek. So you get me like this once a month. So that's why I'm in my uniform. We've been going through the 10 Commandments, and we're up to number 9. The power of words. Recently, I met a young lady that unbeknownst to me, we've known the same people in the last 12 years. Wonderful young lady. Very attractive young lady. We were talking a while ago just about life and about high school and since high school and her life and decisions and marriage and then divorce. And I said to her, well, did you really sort of know my older kids? And she said, well, not really, because in high school I was going through different issues. I said, well, what was going on? I mean, if most of you know me, I'm just not going to leave that there. I'm going to try to cross over. If you open the door, I want to go through and find out what's going on. And she just shared that in high school she had struggled with anorexia. And then that turned into struggling with bulimia, and she was down to 65 pounds. And she ended up in the hospital a few times and should have died. She said, I should have died, but for some reason I didn't. And at that point, of course, I'm interjecting, I know why. God has a reason for you. She said, yeah, I know. I believe that now. I do. Well, in the course of our conversation, she was sharing about medication and the therapy and all of these things. And I kept asking her one question. Well, where did it sort of stem from? Or what was going on? And she'd say, well, I had to do this medication, or I had to do this therapy. No, what I'm asking is, you're talking here. I'm wondering, where did it stem from? What was going on? The power of words. Her dad used to call her a fat little girl. The power of words, which affected her all through school to become anorexic and then bulimic, because the power of what Dad said, his simple words, my fat little girl. When I heard that, I mean, my heart just sunk for her. And I could hear it right now within the congregation when I said those, my fat little girl, those 4 or 5 words, all of you, or many of you just went, oh. The power of words. You know, words that we speak to each other. Words like, I love you. Will you marry me? You are an awesome son, a great daughter. You know, God has given you so many gifts, and all these aspects of life are open to you. You do a great job. Man, I love your haircut, you know. I love your nice short haircut. I can tell you, if Sue gets her haircut and I don't notice it, it's guys, right, for talking to you men. I mean, if we men don't notice the wife's haircut, or if you're dating a girlfriend, if you don't notice the girlfriend's haircut, we're in trouble. But when you say, I like your haircut, man, you look nice today. Those are powerful words within our lives, words which buoy us up. But there's also the words, you're my fat little girl. Or I don't love you anymore. Talking with somebody yesterday who is, they were engaged, all ready to be married. They've been dating for 3.5, 4 years. And the individual said to me that their fiancé just a couple weeks ago said, no, I don't love you enough to get married to you. Ring was given, plans were made, and this person is crushed. Crushed to the point that the person had just started growing in their Christian faith and getting involved in church with their fiancé, and now their fiancé is really involved, and they're saying, well, where is God in all this? The power of the words that we speak to each other are immense. We're looking at the Ten Commandments. Some people have called them the 10 words. The Ten Commandments, written by God, Yahweh God, on the tablets of stone given to Moses, 1500 BC. We've gone through 8 of them so far, and today we're going to do the 9th one, but we're going to go, the next slide, Kim. It's not wanting to go. There we go. The next slide. Let's all read together, and we've been doing this all the last 8 weeks. We'll all read together what's in white, okay? You read what's in white, and I'll talk a little bit about what's in yellow. And God spoke all these words, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make for yourself an idol in the form of anything in heaven above, or on the earth beneath, or in the waters below. You shall not misuse the name of the Lord your God, for the Lord will not hold him guiltless who misuses his name. Remember the Sabbath day by keeping it holy. If you can recall back, those that have been here the last 2 months, the first one, we got to put first things first. God says, I took you out of Egypt. God says to you and I take you out of your sin. I am your God. We don't clean our own lives of our sin like we can take a shower and get rid of our dirt. God does that for us. God says, my claim is on your life. Put first things first. Secondly, don't make an idol, God says, of anything. I think it's awesome that within Genesis it says, you and I are created in God's image. We are created in God's image. Not meaning male or female, but meaning with our love and joy and grace and forgiveness and mercy that we offer to each other. 3, don't misuse the name of the Lord. We tend to think that that just goes with swearing, but it's even more than swearing. We take a name. I have the uniform on, U.S. Air Force. I mean, our theme is integrity first, service before self, and excellence in all we do. Within the Air Force. I can't drag the name of the Air Force through the mud. I've shared every week that I'm proud to be a Van Huculum. I don't want to drag the name Van Huculum through the mud. I am extremely proud to be a Christian, to wear that name Christian. I don't want to drag Christ's name, the family name, through the mud. And the last one, the Sabbath day, by keeping it holy. Jesus says that all days are holy to us. 24/7 is holy to God. Let's go to the next 6. Read with me in white. Honor your father and your mother, so that you may live long in the land the Lord your God has given you. You shall not murder. You shall not commit adultery. You shall not steal. You shall not give false testimony against your neighbor. You shall not covet your neighbor's anything. I know we're going to have a whole congregation that's going to think that last commandment is just cover anything. Honor your parents. Obey, submission, respect, attention, loyalty, all those different attributes we're called to give to our parents. Even, and this gets hard, even if we have a parent who was a very difficult parent, we're still called to give them honor and respect. You shall not commit it. You shall not murder. Life is sacred from the womb to the tomb. From the womb to the tomb. Life is a gift of God. You shall not commit adultery. Save it for marriage and be faithful to God within marriage. Because the whole idea of the marriage relationship is a model of our relationship with Jesus Christ. We are the bride, Christ is the groom. Christ says, I want you to stay faithful and worship only me. I want you to stay faithful to me. Well, if we, before we get married, start to give ourselves away before marriage, then it's like we're not being faithful to that spouse. So there's that marriage relationship here. You shall not steal. You shall not steal. All that we have belongs to God. 100% of what I have belongs to God. God simply says, hey, offer back 10% to me a tithe. And today, you shall not give false witness against your neighbor. The word here of you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor, the Hebrew word of false witness or testimony is ganab, which means to lie, lying, to be false. It's a falsehood.